What's up, everyone? Happy week 18. Ready to talk some NFL Sunday night football showdown season. My name is TJ Zwarich, joined by Tasteful Tides, Timothy Buell. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. We were talking pre-show. I'm tilting Najee Harris pretty hard about that sequence of events. His own team not challenging his touchdown and then him fumbling on the on the 1 yard line. So that kind of hurt my slate so far. But I'm still pretty live on FanDuel, so we'll see.
Yeah, FanDuel's where I played today too. Things were looking pretty good until I got about 30% Josh Allen and that INT in the red zone at the end of the half. That one hurt a little bit, but at least the game's close, so that means he should still be throwing a lot in the second half here. Lots of football to play, and one of the things we got going on FanDuel too, luckily, is the Sunday night football game is included in the slate, and I got a lot of exposure to that last game of the night. And so because of that, I've already dove in. I've done my research on this late night game. We're ready early in the day to break it down. So let's talk about it from a showdown perspective. Starting on DraftKings. Let's go to the captain position first. We like talking optimally, but before we even do that, this game's really going to matter for Green Bay. It's not going to matter so much for Detroit, but it's still a divisional game, and we know how they're coached. We think they're going to be playing pretty hard most of the way through here. What's your first look kind of thoughts on how this game is going to roll? 4.5 point spread here.
Yeah, I don't expect anybody to be sitting. I think Dan Campbell's going to play his guys 100%, regardless if this game ends up mattering in terms of the playoff picture or not. I don't think, I think that it's definitely going to be like a run heavy game from both sides. I think our ownership and our optimal tools reflect that also. So I'm just kind of curious to hear what your thoughts would be, like first person in for captain on DK, like because I'm debating between two guys, and that's Amon-Ra, and then it's also Aaron Jones. Those are the two guys that I can't decide between. Like I think it's kind of depends on like how you think this game is going to go.
So for me, I think I want to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. And the reason I want to do that is because then if we pivot to the flex position here, like I do want to play Aaron Jones, but I also want to play AJ Dillon. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't really feel comfortable pairing them together if Aaron Jones is in the MVP or captain position.
Yeah.
If I'm playing him to be the multiplier, I kind of just want to hope he's getting all the touchdowns. And so with a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown there, we are kind of playing to the spread. We got both these running backs who are going to get a lot of touches in the game. And we're hoping Green Bay pulls ahead with the lead. They're going to be running the ball lots. And then that leans to Amon-Ra St. Brown having to catch a lot of passes. I think from an optimal perspective, this is kind of my favorite way to start out a lineup.
And our simulation tool reflects Amon-Ra as the highest optimal captain rate at 20.76% and only at 19.6% owned. So you get a little bit of positive leverage, whereas Aaron Jones is actually negatively leveraged in the captain spot. So the simulations agree with your take on that, and I have no issue starting off a team with him.
Love it. And so if we are you down to double running back in the flex position
I
after that?
I I am, and I was gonna say like I don't remember a game where I feel like you could really play four running backs. Like I'm not saying that's the optimal way of doing it. It's just like they're really four legit running backs that could easily score a touchdown in this game. And both defenses are just unbelievably bad against the run. So it's but I'm totally fine with playing Jones and Dillon in flex.
You know me, we're starting to talk optimally, but you know me, I like getting some punts in. I like kind of playing in my single entry lineup, still a little bit of a tournament style. Get the most of the optimal plays in there, and then find some guys that I think could maybe have some high upside and break the slate that are nice and cheap. Rein me in if this is tournaments only and not optimal. First round pick for the Detroit Lions was Jameson Williams. 2 weeks ago, he was on the IR all year. 2 weeks ago, he had 13 snaps. Last week, he had 18 snaps. This is now the last game of the season. It doesn't really matter for them for playoff position. He's healthy. They want to see what they got with this rookie. Technically, Khalif Raymond projects better and would be the optimal guy, but my goodness, Jameson Williams is a guy that I think if I was running 150 lineups, I'd want to get minimum 10x the field.
He shows up optimally in the flex 5% of the time and is only showing up at 3.75% ownership. So you do get positive leverage with him. So definitely not for optimal lineups, but I completely agree with you. Yeah, I completely agree with you. If you are 150 maxing tonight, or even if you're making 20, I think you could have a little pinch of him, and I think that's a really, really good idea. I think it's a little thin for like a single entry type build, but definitely for a large field GPP, I'm all about that.
For what it's worth, I would do it in a single entry, but that's why Tim's here to rein me in and go, TJ, we got to talk about optimals first. This is not the optimal play. Great tournament play, not the optimal play. How are we looking to fill out this lineup here if we got St. Brown and two of the Green Bay backs here? Are we wanting to take the higher projection play, try and get up to a Aaron Rodgers? Are we wanting to put in Jared Goff since we have his pass catcher? Or are we looking to stay in this mid-tier with the Dubes, Tanyans, kickers, Charks, and the defenses as well?
I think if we're looking for like an optimal play, perhaps we go to Aaron Rodgers just for the raw point potential. And let's see what that leaves us for salary.
It leaves us 3150, which really isn't a lot. I mean, you can do something like a Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, and then get a kicker defense in there. But optimally speaking today, if we want to get Aaron Rodgers in there, I think actually the player we have to plug in is Justin Jackson. We don't have any other Detroit running backs. We know that Justin Jackson is going to get a decent amount of snaps. He's been electric at times this year, and he's $200. How many players are you going to find with this much potential to get a touchdown at $200?
Yeah, and we have him projected for 4 points, which for $200 is really quite nice. And we have him showing up the optimal 13% of the time and 11% owned. So that's a really high optimal rate for a $200 player. So I think that's completely fine for a large field setting or like a smaller field, kind of more optimal single entry setting.
And this allows, sorry for my cat being extra vocal today, but this allows you to fill out your lineup any way you want here. You got Chark, you got Dobbs, who I think would probably, Dobbs or Tanyan would probably be the way I'd want to go since we have Aaron Rodgers in there. But you also got Crosby or Badgley. You can pair up with a defense. So many different routes that you can roll here. Talk to me about some tournament plays that we can get to. Large field stuff. I've already said it. My favorite play is on the whole slate for tournaments is Jameson Williams. These tight ends have been getting some touchdowns for Detroit lately as well. Shane Zylstra with a 3-touchdown game. Brock Wright with a 2-touchdown game right after him. Who are you looking to go to differentiate at the flex position in tournaments? And then we will swing it back to captain after that for maybe who we like in some large field stuff.
So obviously you can't full fade Aaron Rodgers, but I'm strongly considering, like, I know that we just put a lineup with him in, but that was more of just like a kind of chalk your optimal lineup. But for like large field multi-entering kind of contests, Aaron Rodgers is coming in way over owned in the flex position. We're having projected for 61% ownership and only showing up the optimal 48% of the time. I don't remember seeing so much negative leverage on a quarterback, maybe ever. I mean, I look at Jamino's simulation tool article every single showdown slate, and I don't remember seeing so much negative leverage. So I think for tournaments, I think getting significantly underweight on Aaron Rodgers and getting overweight to Jared Goff and some of these kind of cheaper Detroit wide receivers is a really, really good idea. It gets you away from some ownership, which is always a good thing, and it doesn't cost you a ton in terms of medium projection, which is what we want, especially in Showdown.
And if you're playing cash games, we just sort of went the optimal route. But even in a single entry type thing, if you're playing a tournament, that's a great way to just get slightly different with a near optimal lineup. You don't have to change a lot. Make the exact lineup we just built. St. Brown and the captain, both running backs for Green Bay. You get yourself a cheapie like Justin Jackson and just play Jared Goff instead of Aaron Rodgers. Right. It gives you a little bit more salary, so you could get up to the likes of, I'm not sure if it would allow you to get up to Jamal Williams there, but even if it doesn't, you could play DJ Chark there, and all of a sudden that pairs a lot better since you have Jared Goff in that lineup as well. So I like that route quite a bit. Reminder, Jameson Williams. That's my guy today. What about the captain position? Obviously, we got the salary multiplier today on DraftKings. I'm with you on Aaron Rodgers being way too overowned at the flex position. I think Goff and Rodgers both could potentially be worth a bit more ownership at the captain position, whereas Rodgers going way overowned at the flex. I don't mind him at the captain. My favorite somewhat contrarian play is going to be AJ Dillon. And then if I'm trying to get very off the board, you can guess who it's going to be. It's going to be Jameson Williams.
Really, you would go that far, even on the captain for him?
I put it on
survey.
I put it on survey today. My bold prediction is Jameson Williams is going to have over 100 yards receiving. Yeah, and so I'm seeing this as if he has 100 yards receiving at less than 1% at the captain position. This is like Millie Maker type stuff, not
but that's cool.
He gets 100 yards and a touchdown, 5 catches. Who else can we put in this lineup? All of a sudden, we look at the flex position. Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. $9,600 to play whoever the heck I want. Watson, Swift, Williams, Lazard, anyone. And I got both QBs and both of these Green Bay backs. We think Green Bay is going to handle him this game. This is a Green Bay wins by 2 touchdowns script. You know, AJ Dillon scores 1 touchdown. Aaron Jones scores 1 touchdown. Rodgers throws a random one to whoever the last player we throw into this lineup is. I think it's just beautiful. Like, even I don't want to fill out a whole lineup, but somebody like a Christian Watson to fill that out, I think just makes beautifully. You might be the only person with the Jameson Williams captain lineup. And so it doesn't matter if you're not leaving salary on the table. Right. Even if you do it, like there might be, you do all the expensive players with Jameson Williams at the captain. Well, if that happens, you may be splitting the millie with 3 to 4 other people. That's still a pretty big payday. And if you want to differentiate that at all, you're going to be the only one.
I think DeAndre Swift is a really interesting captain today. Showing up at 5% projected captain ownership and coming in at 10%, 9.38% optimal rate. I think that's amazing. That's really, really good positive leverage, and coming in at the same optimal rate as Aaron Rodgers at half the ownership. I think that would be my kind of get weird captain spot.
If you have any questions for us, premium members, get them in the live stream chat in our Discord. If you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to drop a comment, drop a question, and of course, make sure you've subscribed, hit that like button, hit the notification bell as well. Let's pivot over to FanDuel here, my site of choice where I played 100 lineups today. I haven't looked at this much since we started streaming here. I saw that the Vikings are starting to put in their backups. And other than that, not a whole lot of scoring yet, anything else going on. So we still can focus on this next game. It's chill, it's calm. They're waiting for the afternoon games to start here. Let's pivot over to the showdown slate on the lineup HQ. Are you playing on both sites today, or are you just playing on DK for
No,
Showdown?
I always play on both sites.
Love it. I think Showdown is kind of my favorite way to do that. Like if I'm feeling like just sitting down, making one lineup on both sites, getting my Tim Buell Tasteful Tides lineups on. A Showdown slate is exactly how I like doing it. Just one main lineup on FanDuel, one main lineup on DK, differentiate a little on those two based on the salaries, and then go from there a little bit. We don't have to worry about the salary multiplier over here on FanDuel. Who do you like for the MVP position? I think for my optimal single entry, I'd want to go Aaron Rodgers. What about you?
Honestly, I'm between Jared Goff and Aaron Jones, but it's definitely Aaron Rodgers is definitely a viable choice, and I definitely trust him on FanDuel more than I do on DK because we really need the touchdowns on FanDuel. So I'm fine if people want to do Aaron Rodgers for the more optimal strategy, but I may pivot to Jared Goff.
And so you're not only trying to cash in some cash games, you're trying to win a tournament lineup here. You get Jared Goff, only less than a 2-point projection difference, less than 1.5 point projection difference, but a third of the ownership. To me, that's a great way of doing it. That he'd probably be my favorite MVP for tournaments, but take ownership out of it. Say we're just talking cash games.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just talking cash games, Aaron Rodgers would be the MVP.
Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. But to be honest, like how many people are playing cash games right now? I say we roll Jared Goff because you're torn between Aaron Jones and Jared Goff, still with him being half the ownership. I'd way rather play Goff. And it's like we mentioned on DraftKings, I want to play both running backs. So I don't want to play them at the MVP position. What do you think about for our main lineup today? We're getting a little bit different here on FanDuel. We're not playing a cash game style lineup. We're rolling with Goff, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, whose price here I just love. Why isn't it letting me put it in here? There we go. My mouse is being all weird. There. What do you think about that for starting our optimals? It still leaves us 10K for the last two positions, allowing us to do whatever we want.
Yeah,
obviously outside of Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Like for me, I think that's like the best way to go for tournaments, single entries. Like if you're really playing, 50-50 double up type scenarios, then maybe that's not the way to go. But pivoting away from Aaron Rodgers today, I think is going to be a really, really, I think that's the way that I'm going to go tonight. I'm just going to lean into the fact that Green Bay has two stud running backs. They absorb targets also, which is nice for drafting, more for DraftKings, obviously, but they're going to get all the goal line work. So I can get the touchdown upside, which is so important for FanDuel. So I'm just going to hope that it's going to be AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones today.
Can you guess if I play Showdown tonight for FanDuel? Can you guess what my lineup is going to be?
I know one person that's going to be in it for sure.
And if I plug in Amon-Ra St. Brown with Goff at the MVP, all of a sudden it leaves me a perfect amount of salary for my favorite tournament play on the slate. That is what worries me about this lineup set that we have, though, is from an optimal standpoint. I feel like Amon-Ra St. Brown is a tough fade today. That worries me. And so I'd want to get him in this lineup, but that does only leave us the 6Ks for Zylstra, Williams, James Mitchell, Mercedes Lewis. It's worrisome. It's not worrisome for me because I just want to play Jameson Williams. But if we're not going that route, I do think it's worth a look to say, hey, maybe I want to play one of these two Detroit running backs because then that allows me, if I have the more pass-catching one with DeAndre Swift, well, then all of a sudden I still have Justin Jackson and Randall Cobb and Brock Wright, and I feel a lot more comfortable with that. Other routes you can do it is maybe this isn't the most high-scoring game. Not a whole lot of passing touchdowns. I get a pass catcher like DJ Chark, and I fill in a kicker here. A bunch of different routes that you can go about it. If we swap over back to the MVP position here and talk about large field contrarian stuff, I don't think I need to go Jameson Williams here at the captain or at the MVP, sorry, on FanDuel. Having said that, if I was running at 150, I bet you I'd still have 2 or 3 of them. My favorite for tournaments by far is AJ Dillon. Mm-hmm. And then my next 2 are going to be DeAndre Swift is number 2 and Jamal Williams is number 3.
Yeah, I'd probably go Swift 1, Dillon 2, Goff 3, because Rodgers, Jones, and Brown are going to eat up.
Yeah, sorry. Goff would probably be 1, but just outside of.
Yeah. Because Rodgers, Jones, and Brown are going to eat up a ton of MVP usage, ownership. So I think Goff is just going to be so underutilized on both sites tonight in the captain MVP spot. And then I agree with you though. I really like AJ Dillon, especially on FanDuel. I think that's a really, really strong play for MVP or flex.
Give me a hot take before we get out of here, Tim. Mine, Jameson Williams is going to have 100 yards and a touchdown in this game. Give me one.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, but it's gonna be DeAndre Swift. I think he has an explosion game this tonight.
Maybe play both of them, and you're gonna be winning all of the money today. That'll do it for this edition of the Premium Lineup HQ Showdown Show. Thank you so much for those who joined on YouTube. For those who are going to watch it later in the day, make sure you hit that like button over there as well. Tag Tim and I in the comments. If you got any questions, hit us up on Discord. We'll be able to answer you there. I don't know if Tim will, but I will. I got nothing going on the rest of the day. I'm just watching football. So let us know, and good luck tonight, everyone. We will see you next time. Peace.